I'm out here with my two Toyotas. You can see the front car is a Toyota Prius. That's my Prius I've had for the last 7 years. And in the back car, or the truck back there, is a 1984 Toyota pickup truck chassis with a fiberglass camper shell on the top, on the back. And it's made by Sunrader. And I'm gonna do a little tour for you out here today on this, here in San Diego. All right, first of all, this 84 had this 1984 Toyota pickup truck has 24,000 original miles on the engine, which is amazing. And let's see if I can get in here and show you. I'll show you the engine. It's a 4-cylinder Toyota engine. Let's see. It's called a 22R, which is kind of legendary apparently. I don't know a whole lot about Toyotas yet. Hang on a second, let me get this up. I don't know a whole lot about Toyotas yet. I've done quite a bit of work on a lot of other cars, like mostly Volkswagens. I've done a lot of work on the Prius and stuff, but this is my first time on this 22R engine. It's carbureted, as you can see here. Apparently one of the only downsides of this particular carbureted engine is there's a lot of vacuum pumps or vacuum hoses, and they can get leaks, but that's really the only Achilles heel to this engine. Apparently it's very reliable, which is why I really wanted to get this RV, is for the reliability. I had a Volkswagen for I think almost 10 years. I had it, and that thing was the most unreliable vehicle I've ever had. God bless it. It was great on fuel because it was actually a diesel. It was a diesel Vanagon from 1982 that had been converted to a 1.9 liter turbo diesel from a Jetta. But I also ran it on vegetable oil, so I almost got 30 miles to the gallon in that thing. This apparently gets about 17 miles to the gallon on average. You can get to 20 if the winds are blowing in the right direction, and sometimes down to 15 apparently. But yeah, that's the engine. 22R is like the legendary 4-cylinder engine from Toyota that's like, they just go and go. They're super reliable, which is one thing for me that's very important with the car, is it's reliable. Another thing that's important for me with the car, with the vehicle, is to be able to carry my equipment. I'm a traveling musician, as most of you probably know, and I have to get all my stuff in there, of course, and there's plenty of room in there. I'll show you in a minute where I'm going to build a storage box. But also another thing I like in a vehicle that I have to have is something I can sleep in, because I sleep in my vehicle quite a bit when I'm out doing my gigs wherever. It's just more it's really just more convenient to do that. But I show you the interior a little bit. Oh, it came with the original grill. This door is locked, but let me see if I can unlock it real quick. It came with the original grill. There's a chrome grill on it right now, but the guy gave me the original chrome grill, or the original black grill. Go with it. The guy who sold me this van was a Canadian, and he said it himself. He's like, Canadians can't lie, which is not always true. We had Trudeau and all that stuff, but this dude was cool. His name was Ian, and a really nice guy. And he was also mechanically inclined as well, and knew a lot about mechanics, and he was super stoked. He just had medical issues, and he had to get rid of this thing. He was the third owner. The first owner apparently died pretty quickly after purchasing this vehicle, and then the second owner got it and had it for like 40 years and drove it like maybe 1,000 miles a year. So here it is now with 24,000 total miles, original miles on it. And let me show you around this thing if I can here. So it goes the side of the, looks like my neighbor's coming over here. Hang on a second. What's up, John? Okay, it's rolling. All right, looks like my neighbor John took over the camera work for me, which is nice of him. So here we are at the RV. I'm going to show you inside of it. It's really great. Let me show you. There's trees in the way. I'm going to trim this tree in a minute, but it needs to be trimmed. It needs to be trimmed anyway because it's going to mess up all kinds of cars, and it will get damaged. So I'm going to save this tree's life soon. I'm going to get the loppers. So inside you have, right here you have the stove and a little oven, which doesn't work at the moment. You got a sink. This air conditioning which only runs on what they call shore power. You have to plug it into basically a house or whatever. This won't run off of anything on the RV, so you only get to use this when you're plugged into like a house or whatever, or at an RV camp. And this right here is one of the reasons I got this thing. And you can see in here is the bathroom with a sink down there and a real toilet. You could see it. And yeah, that is the big reason I got this thing. After 25 years of being on the road, I'm gonna have my own bathroom and shower, which is really a cause to rejoice. You can see there's a full-size fridge in here, which is really nice too. There's actually a heater that runs on propane here that you don't have to be plugged in. You can actually independently run this heater. It's got its own, as you can see, it has its own thermostat, so you can set that. It has a chair here. This is probably gonna go away, or maybe the chair will scoot over a little bit. I'm gonna build a huge storage box for all my instruments and my gear, and then people can sit here and chill out. And right over here is the bed. That's like you can leave this bed, like you leave this open so you can get down in there and drive or whatever, and then you move this over here to, you can sleep here. Sleeps 2 comfortably, maybe 3 if you had to, depending on what the situation is. Sometimes you never know. So that is the interior of this beautiful RV that I just bought, and I have not named her yet. I will. Oh, let me show you the closets here too. You probably want to stand here, John, because you can see in the, yeah, there's a big huge closet there, which is really nice. Small closet here, which is nice too. I probably could put like a guitar and my banjo right here, maybe, or definitely in here. All this storage up here, this is a crazy amount of storage. Look at all this storage. It all goes like, it runs the whole length of the top here. That's a ton of storage. There's a ton of storage here and here. And I think that's all there is to show you on this thing. Not that that's all there is, but that's pretty significant. So cool, man.
There you go.
Thanks, John.
No problem.
You got to see. One other thing about this thing that's so great is that it was kept under a sun port, or like sort of an overhanging, for 40 years as well. So that's why there's not much sun damage, as you can see. And it's basically in mint condition, except for one catch, and that is the rear axle. See this rear axle here? There's 5 lugs there. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was the first year that they did this. It's called what they call it a death dually now. You can see how this one is bolted. There's these bolts here. These wheels are just bolted together to make a dually. And actually what happened is I think these bolts ended up shearing on a lot of these, and they fell off, and a couple people died. When a wheel falls off when you're at speed, it's super dangerous because it can go and hit somebody else, which is really bad. And of course, if this wheel were to fall off, God forbid, the whole van or the whole RV will come down, and then you could crash. So this needs to be replaced. This was a recall that was done in 1991. As I said, the original owner died right after buying this vehicle, so he probably never, I mean, when they released the recall in 1991, he was long dead, because this came out in 84. And the second owner probably didn't get his recall notice because there was before the internet. So he didn't do the recall. I decided I was going to take it upon myself to do the work. But now, so yesterday, well, let me go back up a little bit. So yesterday I went all the way up to LA. I found the parts at a junkyard to fix this thing. It was not cheap. I paid $3,000 for all this stuff in here. It's a total mess. I don't even want to look at it. All that's sopping up basically transmission fluid that came from the differential on the rear axle. But I got 7 wheels, because if you think of it, there's 7 wheels necessary, because you got 6 wheels plus a spare with all the 6 lug holes. I drove in the pouring rain. It was the worst rainstorm we've had in Southern California history in probably 20 years or something. I drove all the way up there in this pouring rain, slow traffic. It was like 45. Everybody's going like 45 the whole way. And all the way back, it took me all day. I left at 9:30 to get home till 7 or 7:30 at night. And this is a huge load. That rear end weighs, I would estimate 300 pounds, maybe even more. It was really heavy. We weighed it in, we put it in here. So this poor Prius was loaded down all the way home yesterday. I had a blowout at one point. I had to stop and I fixed the tire, put that little spare on. Well, a lot of people don't know that I started out life as a tire mechanic. So when these things happen, I'm always prepared. You got to have your jack ready. You got to have your spare tire inflated, and that kind of stuff. But you got to laugh. It's great. It's great. So I got my tire fixed. I got my tire on, as you can see right there. Got the donut on. I was super proud of myself for getting everything taken care of. And then I call around the tire shops to get a good used tire, right? And then this mobile mechanic, he's like, dude, you didn't even have to put your tire on. I'll come out to you cheaper than anybody else. So for 50 bucks, he came out to give me a new used tire. And it's just hilarious. You gotta laugh. I didn't have to change this tire. Such a long story. It was a total ordeal fiasco. But long story short, I got all the equipment, all the gear that I need to fix this RV now, and I have the mechanic who's willing to do it. Then I find out, my dad tells me, well, if it's an open recall, son, then Toyota probably will still fix it for you. And I was like, oh my God, I just paid $3,000 for all these parts at a junkyard. Luckily I have my receipt, I can return it, but then I had to drive all the way back up to LA. It's not LA, it's outside of LA, kind of closer to Big Bear and Yucaipa, that area, which is really cool area. Duarte is what they call it. They say Duarte. It's almost as if they're talking like a native language or something, the way they say Duarte. It's like a whisper, to it. Anyway, that's where I got all this stuff, and now I find out Toyota might actually do the recall for me. Isn't that so funny? Life. That was like one of the craziest trips I've been on yesterday, and then it might all be for nothing. So we'll see. And that's, I think, all I have to say for now about this whole thing. So wish me luck moving forward. Hopefully all this gets taken care of ASAP. Of course, this thing's really relatively good on fuel with 17 miles to the gallon average, but it's also a big drawback because it's super slow. It's going to be 65 will be the max, probably going downhill, but with depending on wind speed, yeah. But about 55, 60 would probably be my average speed on this guy, which is fine. And yesterday we had historic rainstorms here in SoCal, and there was only one little tiny leak, and it's coming from somewhere here. And that was amazing, actually, that I got this rainstorm yesterday, because it's always good to know where your leaks are coming from on these RVs, as far as I understand, so you can try to patch them up as soon as possible. There was another leak in the back. You could see here, there's a vent for the stove right here, and I think the water was coming in there and it's coming out the vent, and I caught it with just a pot. I put a pot out, and the whole pot was full by the end of the day, so it did come through. But that was an exceptional rainstorm. We got more rain in one day than most San Diegans had ever experienced in a long time. Oh, I was gonna say too that this Prius has been a great vehicle. It's got 208,000 miles on it now, approximately, and it's just been like problematic recently, to be honest. To be frank, I'm always honest. To be completely blunt with you, I've had a lot of issues with it lately. I had to replace the fuel pump recently. That was $900. I did the water pump recently. That's $500. Did the spark plugs, all this stuff, and then after I got done doing all this work, I was just like, maybe it's time to get rid of this Prius. And that's when I found that beauty back there on Facebook Marketplace. And I was like, when I saw the deal on it, I got a really good deal on it. I probably shouldn't say in this video how much I got it for, but I got a great deal on it, even though it needs that rear axle fixed. If after that, it's going to be cherry. So wish me luck. Put me in your prayers if you believe.